Hey everybody. So I'm trying to kind of hide. I'm on the ground here, getting my cream pants dirty. Oh well. But I'm kind of hiding out, because I don't have my phone microphone today that I know we all like. That helps with background noise, so I'm trying to find a more private corner. And B, there are jurors wandering around everywhere, from our case that we're covering to other cases. So I want to go live and not um, you know share too much or have people overhear what's going on. So the jury is on lunch. I thought that for sure today, that because the jury is deliberating, they would probably bring lunch into the deliberation room and serve them lunch inside, at least for deliberations, but that is not how Maricopa County is doing it. I actually came outside for a little bit, outside the courthouse. We're up on the 5th floor hanging out for verdict watch, but I decided to come out for a bit, and we knew that the jury was on lunch because they all came out of the building, and we recognized them, and they're kind of wandering around. One of them's on a phone, talking to someone. So again, I'm just trying to find a private place, and it's also why I don't have my microphone. I didn't realize that lunch would be happening so quickly, and so my microphone is upstairs, and here we are. So I'll just tell you about any rumblings. I was actually asked if there are any verdict rumblings. There excuse me, there really are not. I have a feeling that this is going to take a while, and not necessarily because they're undecided. They could be undecided. They could be. But I think no matter guilty or not, decided or not, it's going to take a while, because Lori Daybell, during her closing statements, actually requested the jury to listen to her interview from the police station that day. And she said, the whole interview, listen, I tell you what happened. And prosecutor Trina Kay in her rebuttal said, yes, listen to it. It's why we gave it to you. Go back there and listen to the whole thing. Go for it. And I think they're probably going to take certain things like that to heart and make sure that they have all the evidence. We also learned yesterday during closing statements that the jury has a lot of evidence and exhibits that were entered into evidence that weren't necessarily shared in court. One of those being the James and Elena story, or the scientific phenomenon of loin fire story between Lori and Chad. Parts of that were discussed in testimony in court, but not the entire thing. Well, I've read that entire thing on camera live, and it takes almost an hour to read that wretched novel. So if they're going to delve into these exhibits and this evidence and be thorough, this is certainly just going to take a while. I mean, perhaps they won't go into all of that. I'm not sure the protocol, but again, they came here, they started deliberating at 10:30. They're already on lunch. It's noon. That's why I thought maybe lunch would be 12:30. I wasn't prepared to see them all walk outside of the court building for lunch. So that's what we have. Some public is up on the 5th floor hanging out and waiting, as is about 16, 17 people from the media are there, just sort of waiting and hanging out for a verdict whenever that comes down. Hold on. And so, great example, I saw someone walking past. I thought it might be a juror because I saw a badge, so I just stopped. It was actually a media badge. So again, I'm just not sharing much. Okay, perfect. And like one of the jurors, they're far in the distance here, but they're just talking on the phone at lunch. So that's it. I have not seen any relatives outside on the 5th floor. That doesn't mean they're not here. They have had a very special room for victims and survivors, and we really We have seen them enter the room and exit, but we don't really hang out with the surviving victims of this case. They are in a private room, which gives them a lot of ability to go in and out of the courtroom without being seen by the public. And they have victims advocates leading them. And so we actually see them less than we do the jurors. The jurors just go down the main elevator, come and go, but the victims in this case are given privacy. So I have not seen anyone today. I will share that, and I think this would be okay for him, but Larry Woodcock did share a picture without any words in a text to me and others this morning. And it was a photo of Kay and Charles and JJ together. And it was the sweetest photo. And it broke my heart. So here's to justice. And yeah, so may the jury be able to do this and get it right. We hope. So a big thank you to our moderators and Troublemaker Baker, who has actually been able to have the countdown for the verdict watch over on our YouTube channel. We're all over there in chat. I know that it's awesome, and so go ahead and join us over there. I'm actually going to go back upstairs in a little bit just to kind of again figure out what's going on and understand a little bit more. But I'm going to jump in chat and I'll be able to tell you guys what's going on. So in the courthouse, we are not allowed to take any photographs or any videos at all. So once I enter, that's why I just go jump on chat. And that's why when I'm outside, I do my lives. And we'll do a few more today, by the way. Hit subscribe and hit notifications because I don't have to go back into a courtroom. I'm just on the 5th floor hanging out with fellow media. So again, I'll sort of make my way out in an hour or two or whenever I have an update or if there are any rumblings at all as we learn or if we're getting closer to a verdict. So I guess, and I want to say this too, people have asked me, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? How am I feeling about everything? I always preface it with, look, I have a really, really bad history predicting jurors and how long they take and the verdicts. So I don't know if you should take my word for anything when it comes to jury deliberation. With that out of the way, I think they're going to come back with the right verdict. I think they might take a while, but not necessarily because they're all torn. I think that they're just going to go through a lot of the evidence that they have. So it could be today, it could be tomorrow, I guess. And if it is tomorrow, I don't know if it necessarily means anything. Someone said they predict the verdict after lunch. Okay, and I'm going to say this. If I have to actually predict, and I'm like, which means probably don't, whatever I predict probably isn't going to be right. I think they'll probably have a verdict later today. And so I'll throw that in the hat, throw that in the ring, because if I'm wrong, then we really know. Just whatever I say about a jury, disregard, and it'll usually be the opposite of what I think. But I am going to predict that we have a verdict later today. Justice Donuts. For those that missed my live stream yesterday, my recap of day 9, which were closing statements, closing arguments, we learned that at the Maricopa County, when a guilty verdict comes down, the prosecution will oftentimes share donuts or justice donuts to thank everyone for the hard work. And so here's to hoping for we can all enjoy donuts, justice donuts later. Last night I had green chili enchiladas. They were memorable. They were pretty good. Thank you, Phoenix. And that was exactly what I wanted. I said, we're gonna go get dinner. I'm starving after the recap finished. And I want a green chili enchilada. All this talk of green chili enchiladas has been making me crave one. Let's go find a good one. So it was delicious. And for dinner, I will be quite content having donuts. So that's the latest. Really quickly, I'll just ask, any other rumblings at all before I'm on a lunch live? Okay, so here's the scoop. The jurors are back at 1:30. So in an hour from now, it's about 12. It's 12:22 here. So they'll be back in an hour. So we know that we're not going to have a verdict until then, at least. And yeah, stay tuned. So I might come back out again, and I'll have my mic next time, and I'll just keep filling you guys in. So, all right. And again, like I said, I'll be over in chat as well. All right. Okay. We'll see you guys.